guys, welcome back to Welcome Custom. Today we are going to learn a few new things. We're going to learn how to get this ready in Lightburn, how to get the wood properly placed in your laser, how to assemble the file, and how to add leather banding, all in less than 8 minutes. Let's get started. Alright guys, so if you open the file, you'll see there's tons of options. We have what's in the DIY folder, which is smaller. It fits on a Glowforge sized piece of wood. These are great for paint parties, both the DIY and the stained glass. But what we're going to do today is the 16-inch. You have two options, a solid base or a split base. A split base is great for a Glowforge. It has a notch in the base that the two pieces will puzzle together. It's all numbered, and then there's also additional pieces to cover up that cut line in the back. Let's hop on over now to the cut by color files themselves. You'll notice there's 4 different colors: walnut, oak, mahogany, and painted. First thing you always are going to want to do is check that 1-inch box. Make sure it's 1 by 1 inch. If it is, you can go ahead and delete the green box. Next, I always like to move my gray up to the top so my numbers score first and I cut last. Let's have a really quick conversation about wood. These files are set up so that you score the number on the back and then cut out your piece. That means when you're selecting your wood, you're going to be putting your good side face down in your laser and your bad side face up. That means we have to watch out for flashback. Either lift up your piece of wood or you can mask the back. All right, now it's time to finally cut. Let's go ahead and get our laser head set up, select our origin, and let's go. Continue to cut out the 3 other colors as well as your backer. And speaking of backer, let's go ahead and get it ready. So we are going to flip it upside down and we are going to glue our long rectangle onto the back to hide the seam. Even though it's the back, we still want it to be pretty, and I like things to be balanced, so I went ahead and made a cross piece just so it has symmetry. I am using my sandbags to weigh the cross pieces down. Yes, it may be a little bit of an overkill, but it works for me. As we're waiting for our glue to dry, we can go ahead and plan out our painted area for the round quilt. I decided to use a couple of different greens, and I am going to just dab on my color planner where I want those colors to be placed. I then just reference the number on the back and paint the pieces accordingly. Now you will notice I have both numbers and letters on this file. The numbers are going to go down first and the letters are our second layer. Now what I like to do is sort pieces in piles of 10, 1 through 10, 11 through 20, until you get through all of the pieces. This will make placing the pieces so much easier. Now we're going to line up the pieces with the number. We're not going to worry too much about them being perfect. We're just laying them in their place. This is when you can really see the quilt start to come to life and understand the importance of wood grain. Look at the arrows and see how they're pointing in the direction, creating movement through the piece. This is probably one of my favorite things to watch, is when I first dry fit all of my pieces into place. Now that we have that done, we can go ahead and start taping all of our pieces tight. What we're doing is we're focusing on looking at the different seams of the pieces of wood and where they align and meet up. We just want to try to get all the pieces as nice and tight as possible and then tape them into place. Then I would actually recommend taking a piece of cardboard, maybe a 16 by 16 inch square. I was lazy and used a piece of wood that I had laying around, but it wasn't quite big enough and I lost half my pieces. So even though I'm showing you with a board smaller than the round, I really recommend using a bigger board. For more on the tape, flip, and glue method, check out my video tutorial above. Now, what we're going to do is we are going to add glue back to our round, and I am using a silicone spreader that I got from Amazon to evenly distribute all of my glue. This helps add small ridges to the glue, and I think it really helps with adhering the pieces. Now we're going to set the backer off to the side. Oh my goodness, you can see what I'm talking about. I should have used a bigger piece of cardboard. That's okay, I can save it. Now what we're gonna do is place the backer straight onto the back of the quilt and lining it up. Now we are gonna flip the entire thing over and we are going to try to get all of our pieces back into place. Again, this works really well if you're using the correct size to flip your piece, glue, and flip back. Now what we can do is just gently push the round around, making sure that is lined up with the backer underneath. And then I'm gonna go ahead and remove the tape so I can see what I have done. Also, because I wanna go ahead and show you guys the next step with adding the second layer. With the second layer, you really have endless possibilities. All of these pieces are a very similar shape, and so you really could arrange them in various ways. I'm just showing you one of the options, and I also give you an option in the color planner that you can also follow. So I really encourage you to just play around with it and see what kind of fun you can have with this pattern on top. Now I went ahead and I'm gonna try to tape these pieces together so I keep them grouped the way I would like them. But after I did this, I found it wasn't probably the best way to do it, and honestly, just setting them off to the side and adding glue and then adding them back to the piece one by one really would have worked just as well. Now for my outside arrows, I couldn't decide where exactly I wanted to place them, but I thought maybe angling them out just inside of the ring made kind of a fun additional geometric pattern in the design that I really liked, so that's what I went ahead and went with. This is part of why I love designing files. You can find new ways to make the same file over and over and over again. It doesn't have to get old. You can make something different and new just by making a simple change. Now I'm gonna totally shift gears on you guys. And yes, I am using leather. I'm just using a Q-tip to apply the oil dye straight to the veg tan leather. I'm going to use this as my banding to go around my round and hide all of my edges. Now I've typically used E6000 to apply my banding, but someone recently suggested that I use wood glue. I had no idea this would work, but so far it's holding up great. Again, I'm using my silicone brush to dab in the glue, and now I'm going to line it up with the bottom of my piece, and I'm going to tape the leather to the piece to hold it in place. I'll just continue this process, repeating the same steps. Add glue, smooth out the leather, and then tape into place. All right guys, that's it. I hope you found the tutorial helpful, and make sure to subscribe to the channel. Thanks guys.